Hey, what's going on? Luke here, and over the years I've played just about all the rugby league games, even games on like the PSP and just little random obscure ones that you probably don't even know exist, except maybe Mascot Mania, but do we count that? And it was like NRL mascots, it wasn't really like an NRL game. Apart from that though, I pretty much played them all. Like I even went back and played some of like the real old ones. I even did a video, I think I played ARL 95, a few of those sort of ones. So I feel like at this point it's safe to say that I feel like I got a pretty good judgment on one of the top 5 games that the NRL or Rugby League has produced in general. Now obviously everybody's going to have their own opinion and they're probably not going to agree with me entirely, and it's all because it's subjective, right? Like it depends on when you grew up, how old you are when you're playing it. There's probably some choices that I'm going to make that you won't agree with, but there's going to be some nostalgia for me as well, so definitely going to be a case of that. Although I feel like at this point Rugby League Live 4, it came out in 2017, we're at the end of 2023 when I'm making this video. Is it like nostalgia about that one, even though it's the most recent one? Is that one still nostalgic? Also, I just want to point out this was inspired by Zane Potter. I just saw his TikTok, so shout out to Zane and Winston, Orange Pillars podcast, go check it out. But anyways, enough rambling, let's go ahead and get into my list. It is a top 5. Like I said, it is going to be debatable, but I'm going to give my reasonings as to why I've given these 1 to 5, and they are going to be in order as well. So we're going to start off with my number 5 choice, and that is Rugby League 1 for the PlayStation 2. Maybe the Xbox as well, but I only played it on the PS2. It's one that, you know, a lot of these don't age well. Like, you go back and play them now, and you're like, ooh, rough as guts. I actually did a video going back and playing this one. I'm pretty sure I've done a few different ones. Look, the pros is that it was like the first one that I ever played, really. And I remember waiting, I got home from school, and my dad, who was really against like video games, that sort of stuff, actually took me over EB Games, went and got it. Actually, might have even been Kmart at the time. I just remember going over to the local Stocklands and getting it, and being super excited to go back and play. This was sort of peak Bulldogs time as well. But 2002 season, the side that we had, although the points were taken off us, it was nice for me to go onto the game, go and win a comp with the Bulldogs. So the pros of that, like it was the first game, you could button mash and just pass it to the winger and go around. But yeah, I still remember playing, with my mates, we'd go after school, or, back in the day, you'd have your sleepovers and all that sort of stuff, and you go and make your like little local side, and you'd make all your school friends and put them in 99 rated. Very nostalgic for me, because it was the first one. So that could be the reason it gets the nod in this list over some other ones. However, like the grand scheme of things, there's not a lot of rugby league games in general anyways. And there probably is going to be one, I'm just going to say it right now, Rugby League 3 for the Wii. I feel like I've played it, and franchise mode and all that stuff's really good, but I didn't actually play it growing up, and I've only sort of played it in recent years, and even then, like, it doesn't hold up. So that's the reason it's not on the list, and that Rugby League 1 is. It's the first one. It only had a competition mode. It was kind of bare basics, that sort of stuff, but at the same time, we didn't really have anything before that, so at least not on PlayStation, so I was super excited. I think up until that point I was playing like Jonah Lomu rugby, and then I was just trying to play it like a rugby league game and just imagining it was a rugby league game. So I'm going to go Rugby League 1 as my number 5. Now we move on to position number 4. It's going to be Rugby League Live 4. We've gone from the first one I played to the most recent one I played. Came out in 2017, sort of briefly mentioned it earlier. Obviously, I've done so many videos. It's easily the one I've made the most videos on in terms of the channel. It's where I've had the most success on YouTube as well. There's great customization. There's a lot of pros about the game, but also I was very open when the game came out about me not liking it, and that was kind of in contrast to the previous game and some of the previous ones. I just felt like there were some absolute downgrades, and I think we can all agree with it. Overall, is it a fun game? Yes. Is it a frustrating game? Huge yes. So many pros, so many cons though, but at the end of the day, it is the most recent one, and it's one that people to this day keep up to date. And I feel like maybe if the fan hub wasn't there, maybe I would say something completely different, but it's still crazy that a game came out in 2017 can still be somewhat up to date, albeit by, just people making the teams and upgrading them. But it is kind of cool that I can still play this game in 2023 and I get arguably the same amount of viewers that I would have got in, 2018, 2019. So it is pretty crazy. It's got a lot of longevity, and I guess that's kind of what they were going for when they made it. I'd imagine they probably would have thought Rugby League Live 5 would be out. I thought they would be out by now too, but as frustrating as this game is, and it's still the one that I play the most. It's the one, if I'm going to load up a rugby league game, I'm going to go and play this one right now. In 2023, it's probably the best one to play. I've gone back and played some of the previous ones. Like I said, they don't hold up very well. So in terms of just what I'm more familiar with, Rugby League Live 4 is where it's at. As an overall game compared to previous ones and, compared to just other sports games in general, it's not great, but it definitely is in the top 5. Then moving on to the number 3 spot, we're going to be going with Rugby League Live 2. Sort of jumping all over the shop here. We started off with one that was at the very start, one that's the most recent. Now we're going back to, I believe, about 2012-ish. I'm pretty sure, the Bulldogs 2012, because we made a grand final and we got beat. But that's kind of, I remember these games sort of going off, who was on the cover and, who was the top team at the time. And, for me, Bulldogs, Benny Barber, played with plenty of career modes. I did one of my longest career modes in terms of YouTube. It was sort of where I got my start on YouTube in terms of the Rugby League channel. I've done previous stuff, but just in terms of where I fully started doing YouTube was with Rugby League Live 2. And I played the shit out of that game. I played it so much. I remember staying up to all hours of the night. Actually was playing like a Super League career mode for the most part. But fantastic game. First one I really dabbled into online as well. So it was a good game. Definitely didn't have the customization that previous ones had, but I thought the career mode was quite good, or whatever it's called at the time, franchise mode, dynasty mode. I forget what was actually called, but whatever their career mode was called, it was quite good. There's never really been a super in-depth career mode, so there's no point in me sort of going like, it wasn't super in-depth, because none of them really were. Now moving on to number 2, and I keep lining these up, Rugby League Live 4, number 4. Number 2 is going to be Rugby League 2 for the PlayStation 2. That's where I played it. I still remember having a modded PlayStation 2. I didn't pick up Rugby League 2 initially, because I still had Rugby League 1, and, back in the day when you're a kid, you can't just go out and buy games or, no, Afterpays back then, couldn't be doing that. You could lay buy it, but it took a lot of convincing to get games from your parents back in the day, which is something, don't know if kids experience it these days, but Rugby League 2 for the PlayStation 2 was fantastic. Career mode, franchise mode, I believe it was called. Basically, career mode, I think is the most in-depth one. It's the one that I put the most hours in. Back in the day, I remember borrowing this game from my mate Liam, and I played it so much. Like, I finished the career mode multiple times, gave it back to him, picked it up myself. I think maybe it was like a pre-owned one or something like that, but I ended up getting it years later. By that time, the squads are very outdated, but as you see with my videos, I don't mind going through and making some of the new players. They obviously had the World Cup edition as well, which came out in 2008 to coincide with the Rugby League World Cup that was in Australia. I realised that when I was in Video Easy, Blockbuster, it might have been Blockbuster, and I was just walking past and I was like, Rugby League 2 World Cup Edition, is it a new game or is it updated? Realised eventually once I had hired it out that it was just the same game with a little bit of a facelift, but at the same time didn't stop me from getting it that Christmas. So it had some longevity, had the best career mode, best franchise, that and Rugby League 3, but obviously I didn't really play Rugby League 3 that much. I've gone on to play it years later, and you figure out they're very, very similar, but just in terms of signing players and all that sort of stuff, even progress through the players, I think it's the best one. I went back and I did a video where I rebuilt the Knights, I think it was, and I just purely, I didn't play any games, I just sort of did the career mode aspect of it, and to me it held up compared to previous ones, the more recent ones I should say. You just realise sort of how backwards they went, and they kind of got a few things right in the end, but from 2005 when this game came out to 2023, I still think it's the best career mode, which is crazy. In terms of actual gameplay itself, it doesn't hold up. Let's be real, it doesn't hold up. I went back and played it, it's quite frustrating. If you are playing more recent games, it's quite sluggish and stuff, but at the time, and that's all I can really go off is at the time. I was used to controller. It's big things when you go back and play these games, and you're not used to the old controller anymore. But for me, button mashing, that sort of stuff, it was cool at the time. Doesn't really fit with what things are these days, where you use the triggers to sprint and all that sort of stuff. But overall, the gameplay was good enough. It wasn't something that you would hang your hat on, but it was good enough. And I still remember playing 80-minute matches, so it was good enough for me to play that. I still remember there's little aspects where players would just drop the ball randomly, things that I feel like we sort of linger for that in recent ones. They're not there. But at the same time, I feel like if they actually were, they would probably find it frustrating, because I found it super frustrating when I went back and played it. But it just added that little bit more bit of realism. It was the first time I sort of experimented with camera angles and stuff as well. When I was playing those 80-minute games, wanted it to be a little bit more lifelike. But yeah, overall, I don't really have too many negatives to say about Rugby League 2 as to why it's so high on the list. Other than like the gameplay wasn't the best. But just in terms of the overall general thing, all the pros, all the cons, it's up in number 2. Now moving on to the number 1 spot, I think we know where we're going with this one. Obviously, it is Rugby League Challenge for the PSP. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's Rugby League Live 3. This is another one that I put a lot of hours into. I played this so often. I played the most online. Probably the most I enjoyed a game. We sort of figured out in the end it was very hard to lose games, and even when I went online, the game was so, I don't want to say robotic, but you kind of figure out how to win. Like it was quite simple in the end, but it is one that I had a lot of fun on, and I put a lot of hours in. I did plenty of YouTube videos on it. Even when I go back, there's a lot of nostalgia. I've gone back and played it in terms of it up against Rugby League Live 4. I enjoy playing Rugby League Live 4 more right now. However, I'm more used to it. So maybe if I went back and played Rugby League Live 3, I would, and played it regularly, I should say, I would say something different. Obviously, there's a few things that just feel strange, but at the same time, I can't complain. I can't sit here and say, I didn't enjoy the game. Like in terms of rugby league games, there's none that are like absolutely perfect or anything. Like for me, it's not like FIFA where every year you get this like polished game coming out, and even then a lot of like FIFA EAFC fans will, they'll complain about it. But for us, we got games few and far between. So Rugby League Live 3, it was a huge step up. It was on a new console. It just made that big leap from Rugby League Live 2 to Rugby League Live 3. Like there was a big jump. Whereas Rugby League Live 3 to Rugby League Live 4, I would say there was a lot of things that you're like, that's a downgrade. There's a few things that are better, but that's a downgrade. Introduced the fan hub. To this day, you can go back and play what came out in 2015-ish, 2014, 2015, and there's still people making updated squads to this day. So I think that should kind of talk about the longevity. And like I said, if I went back and played this game right now, I don't think people would be too disappointed. You know what I mean? I feel like I could go play Rugby League Live 3 and I would probably have as good as a time as what I did on Rugby League Live 4, if not better. A lot of people have commented and left so many comments over the years saying, go back and play Rugby League Live 3. It's so much better. It's, less buggy, just a little bit more polished. And I can't disagree with that. It's just, more recency bias. But, yeah, Rugby League Live 3, fantastic game. There's not too many things like where I can go through and I can look at, say like in previous ones, Rugby League Live 4, super buggy. So many like little glitches, intercepts are bad. Rugby League Live 2 was the same. Intercepts were even worse. Rugby League Live 3, I feel like they pretty much got most things right. Just the fact that like the actual difficulty level wasn't that hard. Like once you master the game, I know doing YouTube videos, there was points where you're like, man, I've won like 50 games in a row. I need to lose at some point. Just, people are going to lose interest if I just win every single game and I'm winning like 60-0. I dead set remember I was playing with the West Tigers, Luke Brooks, Aaron Woods, James Tedesco, all the ratings. Actually, that's what I will say about career mode and a lot of the recent career modes, that just the ratings go like through the roof after the first couple of seasons. But yeah, I remember having one of my favorite career modes playing with the West Tigers, but towards the back end of it, just thumping teams. Like team would be in second spot and I was beating them, 60-something nil, and it was like, it was the highest rating. Like I couldn't go any higher. So yeah, in that aspect, it did get quite easy. But yeah, I put probably the most hours in terms of overall. But overall, I put in a lot of hours in this game. I made a lot of videos. Good stepping stone, a big stepping stone in terms of my YouTube channel. And yeah, it's probably the one I've got the most fond memories of. In terms of like, I don't really have anything I can look back on and be like, this game used to annoy me so much, or, rage quitting, or, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's why it's in number 1. I think a lot of people are going to agree with me. Probably a lot of people are going to disagree too and put some other random ones in there, but that's my personal list. That's my top 5 games that have been released on the topic of Rugby League or the NRL or Super League. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your top 5? I feel like it's going to vary quite a bit. Maybe we'll have like a lot of the same games, but just in different different spots. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below your top 5. Anyways, I'm going to wrap things up here. Hopefully you did enjoy that one. It's been a video I've been meaning to make for a long time, and I thought now it's about right. You know, let's go do it in the off season. Let's talk about previous games, considering Rugby League Live 5 doesn't seem to be coming out anytime soon. So I thought I'd do this one, and yeah, hopefully you did enjoy it. Leave a like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. You know the drill at this point. You know, notification bell, you know, use the little bell thing. It's super important. Let you be notified. Also, become a member of the channel. Haven't been live streaming that often, but I am hoping to do some more live streams in the near future. So make sure you come and check out the live streams. Probably the next couple of nights I'll be trying to do some. But yeah, look, social media as well. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke on YT. Give me a follow, give me an ad, and stay tuned for more. Look, plenty of videos to be made, especially with the new season coming up. Haven't been uploading that often, but it's off season. Not really much to talk about. So yeah, stay tuned for more content on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. See yous.